Hello, everybody. We are Team Secluded, and this is our game, Take Your Medicine. It is a comedic take on our current pandemic situation that the whole world is apparently experiencing right now, and we hope you enjoy this presentation. So, what is this game? Well, the main hook of this game is that you are essentially playing as a doctor who is in a dilapidated hospital, and you wander around to discover that there is an infection within the hospital, and your main goal is to stop this infection while also curing all of the patients that happen to be in the hospital at that time. So for the genre and the rating, we decided to make this a side-scroller platformer. You could think of old school Mario as a perfect example. We want this game to be an E10 plus rating or older, which would be a 12 or older for the PEGI rating, and of course a B rating for the Sero. The reason we went with this is because we feel that the violence and gun depictions that the game will have would be an appropriate rating for this. And of course, it will have comedy and be overall comedic in nature.
So for audience breakdown, our age group we're looking for primarily would be the 12 to 18 age group. We're also looking for fans of maybe an apocalyptic game, a sci-fi, fans of like arcade zombie games and or point-click shooters. And so our gameplay loop would be something like this. The player would start at the level. Do they encounter the enemy? And does the enemy hit the player? If yes, then the player will die depending on how much health he has or she has. If the enemy or if the player shoots the enemy and he has enough ammo, then the enemy will become cured. If the enemy dies, then the player will continue across the level until they reach another enemy. And if the enemies are all gone and the end of the level is reached, then they will continue on to the next level.
The core mechanics of the game is when the player moves right, if he encounters the enemy, he shoots, then the enemy gets cured. If he doesn't encounter the enemy, then he moves right and leftwards. The game goals are to escape the hospital and cure the infected and survive the infection throughout the hospital.
Well, the feedback we are using for the visual is we are having a doctor, we are having infected clowns, and once the infected are cured, they'll become a human. We are using heart and stim pistols and ammo pickups for visuals. And for the audios, we are having health stim gun sound and when the player gets hit and when the pickups are being picked up. The platform we are going for now is PC, and once we are able to complete it for PC, we will move it to mobile. The controls we are using for is A and D for left and right, and left arrow and right arrow for moving, and spacebar for jump, and left mouse click to shoot the weapon. The theme and mood we are going for is it's a post-apocalyptic game, and it's more of a survival kind of game. And as a doctor, you are the humanity's lost hope. The character breakdown is doctor who uses a stim gun to cure the infected, and we have clowns as infected. They are the diseased humans, and once they are cured, they'll be a normal human.
So our user interface looks something like this. From the main menu, the player will have the option to either continue if they already have a previous game, a start, which will go to the game state or the new game, a level select, which will take you to levels 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there's the options, which will take you to the sound, graphics, credits, Daltonism mode, which is our color blindness mode, and then our difficulty, which consists of easy, medium, and hard. And then there's the quit option in which the player wants to quit the game. If they're in the game state, there is the pause button, which will take you immediately to the options and quit menu. And then there's the resume button, which will take you back to the main menu. And then levels 2, 3, and 4 will only be unlocked if the player has completed the previous level. And this is what our user face looks like. We were going for the top left corner being where the heart is, or where your life is, the top right corner being the ammo count, and then the main part of the game will be on the bottom of the screen so that players can see where the enemies are coming from.
The full game mechanic, players moves right and left, player shoots infected, player jumps on platforms, player jumps over barrels and crates, player collects health or ammo. The level design, level 1 looks like this, with the player entering to the door and encountering the enemies. Red circles as enemies, and purple as health pickup, and yellow as ammo, and blue as a normal human. And the enemy shoots when the enemy shoots the player, he dies in one hit, and the player moves along. With one hit he can kill the enemy, and until he reaches the final boss he need to have more ammo to fight the final boss. Level 2 design, it's same as level 1, but if there are more bosses and with more sub bosses.
So level 3 is when the enemies will actually rank up as far as terms of toughness goes, meaning that they will require more hits to actually become cured. So in this instance, we have quite a few infected level 3s here, which will acquire approximately 3 hits in order to be cured, whereas the infected level 2s will require 2 hits. And of course, there will be a sub-boss at the end of this level as well. Now, level 4 is what we consider the main boss level. We wanted to initially lure the player into a false sense of security on this level, whereas when you go through levels 1 through 3, it becomes quite difficult depending on the difficulty that you play on. So in level 4, all of the enemies that you encounter will be your standard level 1 enemies, which will require 1 shot to be cured. So the player will think that it is a progressively easier level, but as they reach the end, they will hit a massive boss that will require a total of 10 shots in order to be cured. The reason we went with this idea was, again, we wanted to lure the player into a false sense of security, which we believe would add to the fun factor of the game overall. So for the intended aesthetics that we wanted to go for, obviously you're playing as a doctor, so you want to have a white color for the doctor's lab coat, possibly a red cross for the hat that they may or may not wear. As far as the hospital goes, you will have bright fluorescent lighting throughout the entire hospital. But again, it will be kind of dilapidated and run down. So in this instance, there will be some lights that are brighter than others, while some may actually flicker out. And of course, when it comes to our infected clowns in this instance, they will take on a variety of colors from green, red, yellow, and even brown. And of course, these colors will shift depending on if the player is playing in our daltonism or color blindness mode. So the main technology we decided to use for this is obviously Unity, because we are all familiar with it, and it is a very easy engine to get to use in this instance. We will also use Slack as far as sending documents and general communication within the team itself. Just as a side note, we hope that this project takes no longer than 4 months to complete, but obviously there will be wiggle room as far as development is concerned. And of course, here are all the references if you would like to view those. And that leads us towards the end of our presentation. I may have not mentioned this before, but obviously I am Douglas Pfeiffer, and the rest of our team consists of Dominic Walls, Soumya Raghi, and Kishore Bhupathi. If you wish to contact us, please feel free. We would love to hear your feedback and any general questions that you may have concerning our project. We thank you for the time that you took to watch this presentation, and we look forward to seeing your feedback. Thank you.